That's Travis Winky. All right, everybody know Travis Winky. I'm the cook in Baltimore. I feed Baltimore. That's me and Governor Hogan, Mayor Pugh, and Boyd Rutherford. I ran against Governor Hogan. I was on the ballot. I was the first one on the ballot in 2013 when Governor Hogan ran. All right, Dave Davis. Y'all had me taken off the ballot. I was going after the corruption and behind the war on drugs, behind mass incarceration in your prison industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in the state of Maryland. That's Scott Shellenberger's sign. I was kidnapped by Scott Shellenberger in 2011 and charged with terrorism. I was kidnapped by Scott Shellenberger on February the 7th, 2011 and charged with terrorism. I'm the cat in the hat. That's Attorney General Eric Holder. All right, and that's Mayor Stephanie Rawlins Blake. And that's Scott Shellenberger's sign. Took your sign and I made it mine. Because I'm going to show you the story behind Shorty and racism in America. You feel me? That's President Trump. That's President Trump and me the last time he ran for office when he was in 45. Yeah. And that's me at the White House with the toilet. That's the States Attorney's Office. Ivan Bates. All right. 2426 Strategic Plan. That's Fox 45 and the Maryland Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts. If you go to the Maryland Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts and get all my paperwork, everything they got. That's Ivan Bates. See the date? Over a year and Ivan Bates ain't did nothing. Everything Ivan Bates got, you got to turn over. You feel me? Ivan Bates, you can't use your position of power to protect Fox 45. I'm looking to go to the grand jury or the Supreme Court. It's Minuteman Press and I'm getting ready to press up on you. That's the Baltimore Sun, Armstrong Williams, Pam Woods, Justin Fenton, all right, and Get Shorty. See the date? 2006. From 2006 to now. That's Governor Schaefer. Governor Schaefer said follow the money. All right, so I'm following the money with your prison industry. And I'm following your money straight to Donald Trump. That's President Trump, and everything President Trump got, the Secret Service got, you got to turn over. That's me at the Baltimore Sun. All right, that's me at the Baltimore Sun. Armstrong Williams. And that's me in 2014. Brown Ullman, 2014. That's the Attorney General's office. The Maryland Attorney General. That's Rod Rosenstein's office. And like I said, that's Ozzie Newsome and me. That's the Baltimore Sun. Commode Motion. And that's Delegate GOP Carter. Can of whoop ass. That's President Trump. That's Kathleen Hughes, TV One, Radio One. And that's Maryland's prison industry. Everything on film. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Social media for social change. I don't need 1 million people to march. I need 1 million people to pay attention. You're talking about Fox 45, CBS, ABC, NBC, Dan Bongino of the FBI. That's Scott Shellenberger. I want his job. He kidnapped me. I'm not Emmett Till. I'm not Freddie Gray. I'm not Maurice Donald Johnson. I'm not Tyrone West. I'm not George Floyd. I'm alive and breathing. And we're going to talk about the return. Yeah, the return. That's Miss Stephanie Rawlins Blake and Congressman Cummings. And that's me. Asbestos and lead removal. That was my job. That's Commissioner Belfield. That's the Department of Justice. And like I said, I was making a movie. Brent Jones, Baltimore Sun, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox 45, BBC World, iReport, MSNBC. We clear on this? We clear on this? Because that's Governor O'Malley and Attorney General Anthony Brown. Like I said, I'm looking for exoneration of the Supreme Court because I broke your criminal enterprise down right here. And you got to get my tapes from the FBI. Yeah, from the FBI. Get all my shit. So Rob Fix Production, Letters Design, all right? Facebook, Letters Design, social media for social change. That's my Community Verizon Award, Community Innovator. And this is your Jim Crow and white supremacy. And I broke you down as a criminal enterprise. So take this in front of the grand jury. It gives you names and dates and the names of the judges and the lawyers and the politicians. It's my whistleblower. And the United States Senate got this. The United States Senate got this. So Whistleblower, the movie. notarized. You feel me? Harford County. Expires in 2026. That's the Maryland Black Caucus. That's the state of Maryland legislative branches. And it's all about Scott Shellenberger. That's the Baltimore Sun. And that's the Baltimore Orioles. That's Ed Mulitalo from the Ravens. And I'm going to give you the history of the Baltimore Sun. That's the Lake Counties. The Waukegan News Sun. The Waukegan News Sun, Lake County News, they lied to you. So did the Baltimore Sun. That $250 million is going to come from all of y'all. I'm going to deepen everybody's pockets because I gave you the Shorty program. Self-help organization for the redevelopment, re-education of the young. I gave you social, economic, political, medical, environmental. And I gave it to you about our kids. You killing our kids. You killing them or incarcerating them. That's business development. Crime and policing issues, job development. And that's a can of whoop ass from GOP Carter. The Baltimore Sun got that. Zion Forum Resident Support Anti-Violence Plan. I gave you your anti-violence plan. I gave your anti-violence program. President Obama had it. Lisa Madigan, Patrick Fitzgerald, the director of the FBI, Governor Quinn, Governor O'Malley, the Lake County Board, Judge Bell, Snowden, Holder. You feel me? It's all documented. And the Baltimore Sun got this. That's me back in the day. Territorial drug dispute. All right? You can check it out. Territorial drug dispute. Suspect turns himself in and shooting. That was me. We talking about public accommodations, discriminations in the Public Accommodations Act. Government operated facilities, buildings. You feel me? Government owned and operated. We talking about the courts. And that's Thurgood Marshall. He taught me how to do it. I'm an activist in Baltimore. And my activism is documented. That's the Supreme Court of the United States, Dwayne G. Davis. All right? Properly brought before the lower courts. And y'all blocking me from bringing it to the courts. And that's the clerk of the court. Seize a date. Controllable variables. Access to the court, the Supreme Court, a writ of certiorari. Seize a date. Dwayne G. Davis, 1402 Lochner. Motion for a public hearing. See the date? Judge Marcella Holland. She blocked that. She blocked that. That's a legal notice. Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Lake County, Illinois. 07C4988. I never got a trial. I never got a trial. I was held for 186 days illegally. I was kidnapped by the state of Illinois. Dred Scott, 2025. That's Governor O'Malley, Governor Quinn, Attorney General, and President Obama. Obama asked for an investigation. That's President Obama. All right? We believe in inherent dignity and equality in every human being, regardless of race, religion, creed, or sexual orientation. That's Senator Ben Cardin's. All right? And it's all right here. N62528. I'm a whistleblower in the courts. Shorty documentary. Brent Jones, ABC, NBC, CBS. That's why I shut down the media. Charles Gibson, World News Tonight. Gayle King got that too. My camera just as strong as yours. Click, aim, and shoot. Copy, paste, and send. I'm not looking for friends. I'm looking for change. I don't need 1 million people to march. I need 1 million people to pay attention. So like I said, Watergate. That's Izzy Pataki. That's Anthony Brown. That's Ivan Bates. That's Delegate Stephanie Smith. That's the Maryland Black Caucus. That's Adrian Jones. That's Peter Francott. That's President Biden and the Department of Justice. That's Governor Hogan. That's States Attorney Mosby. That's Mark Steiner, WEEA Radio. See where I'm going with this? That's the White House, 2009, 1402 Lochner. President Barack Obama. All right? That's Broshin. And that's Shorty's Underground. I own me. I own all parts of me. So President Trump, I'm a weaver in Baltimore, weaving the social fabric. So everything President Trump got, everything Fox 45 got, y'all got to turn over. Thumbs up. I'm the founding member of the Baltimore Block. Activism ain't terrorism. Like Harriet Tubman said, I'd free a lot more if they knew we were slaves. Yeah. This ain't my fight, this is our struggle. And it's all legal. It's all legal. Notarized. Notarized. 2025. So President Trump, David Smith, Fox 45, St. Clair Broadcasting, Mikenzie Frost, a federal investigation. Dan Bongino gonna lead it. Dan Bongino gonna lead the investigation. We gonna start with Alpha Justice. You go to Alpha Justice, they got my storyboards. Go get my evidence. Shorty, pull your mask up? No. TMZ.com. Those are the criminal charges against Scott Shellenberger. President Biden. The IRS. We talk about $250 million in intellectual property. Whistleblower, the movie. See the big picture?